Hey everybody, it's Chris Seeds, Wootini from the late lamented GayGamer.net, here with another weekly video podcast. This weekend, there was a slight delay getting this podcast up because I spent this weekend at FlameCon. FlameCon 2, to be specific. The organization geeks out through another awesome LGBT comic book convention. And this one was better than the last. It was amazing. See, last year they held it at the Grand Prospect Hall in Brooklyn, and that venue was a little bit odd. It's not really set up for doing conventions properly. So like the main floor was kind of all over the place, and it's a weird layout, and the air conditioning was terrible. But this year, they held it at the Marriott by the Brooklyn Bridge. So it was in a proper hotel, proper air conditioning, proper layouts. You had separate rooms for the, you had a main room for the show floor with all the vendor and exhibitor tables. And then there were separate rooms for the panels, and it was all very professional. They had microphones and screens and nice chairs and tables, and it felt like a real convention, whereas last time it felt more like some scrappy kids, putting on a show in the neighborhood, And they've already announced that there's going to be another one next year, so that's fantastic. I know some people on the West Coast were complaining and wondering when they could get a FlameCon West, and I hope that happens for them. Geeks Out has held events, all over the country, so fingers crossed, then maybe they can expand it to there. It's obviously doing very well and being very successful. And I just love it because it's a more relaxed, comfortable con. It's not overwhelming, like a New York or San Diego. I don't know about San Diego, I've never been officially, but I hear it's worse than New York Comic Con, which is pretty bad. And it's great because everybody gets to come, and everyone feels comfortable, and you can do whatever cosplay you want and not feel like people are going to make fun of you or laugh at you, and, it's just wonderful. 5 minutes after I walked in the door, I overheard some guy say to his friend, "I've never felt more at home." And I'm like, oh, that's exactly what they're going for. I did cosplay. I debuted my gender-bent Power Girl outfit and went as Power Boy, which I was told was actually a character that does exist, but I didn't do his costume. I did Power Girl's costume with the boob window and everything. And I did go to a couple panels. I got to meet one of my childhood crushes, Matthew Waterhouse, who played Adric on Doctor Who. I went to his panel, and then I went to his table to get him to autograph his book and get a picture with him. I also had a nice picture taken with Dax exclamation point from RuPaul's Drag Race. The only thing the tables and everything, when I go to like New York Comic Con, one of my favorite things to do is just walk around the show floor and look at all of the booths selling old comics, or like toys, like cheap stuff, like cheap 50-cent dollar comics, from like the 70s and stuff, and then like bins of old action figures and Smurfs and toys and things that you can just root through and come up with a treasure. Here they don't have that, so I didn't really buy too much, so that's why I finally did get my Gaming's Gay Mafia t-shirt, but I didn't splurge too much. Like I didn't buy a bunch of t-shirts and toys and old comics and stuff, so I was able to justify my splurging on this handmade felt Totoro that I just fell in love with and couldn't resist, even though it was expensive because it's all handmade. It was super cute. I mean, come on, how could you say no to that? And I said, I'm not buying tons of t-shirts and toys and comics, so I will justify that purchase. But I look forward to next year. I'll have to come up with another costume for next year. And I am going to be bringing, now that Power Boy was successful and comfortable to wear and popular at FlameCon, I will be bringing him to New York Comic Con in a couple of months. And I look forward to next year's FlameCon, which will be bigger and better, I'm sure. Hopefully it's still at the Brooklyn Marriott, because it's kind of close to me and really convenient for me, so I think that would be awesome. As far as gaming, obviously I'm still playing No Man's Sky. I can't not. I'm, like, obsessed with it. Like, literally, like, every so often I'll think, oh, I want to watch this movie again, you know, like, I'd like to watch this again, or I'd like to, you know, watch this TV show in the DVR. But, anytime I seem to have free time, I'm always booting up my PlayStation. I can't stop. It's, like, ridiculous. And it's funny to me because so many people are complaining, and I get that a bunch of the complaints about No Man's Sky are from PC gamers, because it finally debuted on PC, and it's apparently, like, really buggy, and a lot of people are having troubles, and the controls, and it's not quite working right, and they're, like, rushing out a patch, or they did, I think it already came out, to try to address those issues, and I'm just like, I'm glad I'm playing on PlayStation 4. And this is why I kind of prefer consoles to PCs, because I know consoles can be buggy, and yes, No Man's Sky has frozen up on me a few times. I've gotten, like, the blue screen error screen a couple of times. But I feel like it would be worse on a PC because you have so many more configurations to have to make it work on. So, that's why I don't play games on PC. Also, I don't have a PC, I'm a Mac guy, but whatever. But people are complaining, they're like, oh, it's boring, there's nothing to do, it's not exciting, and I'm just like, I love it. I think it's great. I'm still obsessed. Like, I think the people who are, like, rushing through it, they're not enjoying it, because I think what you have to do is take your time. Like, one of my friends tweeted that he landed on a planet and there's, like, a crashed ship or something, and it's, like, a 2-hour walk away, but he has decided to do that and walk it on foot and go the whole way, and he says he keeps getting distracted, so it's taking a long time, but that he's already cataloged all the plants and animals and everything, and he's having a much better time. And I'm like, that's exactly it. Like, the game is all about exploration and discovery, and when you're doing that, it's super fun. If you're just rushing through to try to get to the center of the universe, I don't think you're really going to have a great time, because that's not really how I feel like the game was meant to be played. I'm very excited. I finally reached my first Atlas station, so like, I kind of progressed in the story in a way. And I finally have my first Atlas pass, so that now I can open up the frickin' containers on the planet surfaces when I find them. I don't have the 2 or the 3, so I can't get into the buildings, but it's a start. And I've also encountered, again, this is what I love about the game, is that you have the freedom to play it how you like, and I'm constantly exploring planets, because I just got killed, like, this past weekend. I got killed twice by space pirates trying to jump from one planet to the next in the same system, because they'll scan me, like my cargo, and then they'll shut down my pulse engine so that they can attack me, and I'm like, damn it. I did manage to blow up one starfighter, but the other ones, there were 4 others, so they clearly killed me, because I suck at space combat games. But, like, I land on a planet, and the Sentinels are, like, super aggressive, and I scanned 3 things, and it attacked, and the Sentinels was like, no, that's too much, and started shooting at me, and I'm like, alright, forget it. And I gave up on that planet right away. There was also another planet that I was willing to explore, and I was exploring it for a little while, but then there's these, like, spider crab creatures that are like super aggressive, and anytime I would land, all of a sudden, like the first few landings I was okay, but then anytime I would land anywhere on this planet, these giant spider things would come at me and attack me, and they hurt. It's really bad. So I was like, alright, I give up on this planet because the spider creatures are too aggressive. But it's okay, because it's like, oh, whatever, I'll go to the next planet, and maybe that one will be okay to explore. And it won't be as difficult. So, you know, I can get around it. And nothing's required, so I don't have to explore that planet and deal with the frustrating bugs that keep attacking me. I can just be like, yeah, you know what? Enjoy your planet, bug creatures. I'm going to go to the next one. And it doesn't matter. I have noticed, you know, it has started to get a little bit, you know, repetitive. Like, I do sort of wish that they would, I don't know if they can fix this in an upcoming patch, but, like, maybe some variety in the space station layouts and stuff, because it's like, every time you land in a space station, it's like, you can go this way or you can go that way, but you can't go that way until you have the Atlas Pass. So you go this way, you walk into the room, you talk to the alien, you're done. You go back out. And it's all very, like, similar looking, and I feel like a little more variety would go a long way. Because there's a lot of variety in the alien creatures and the spaceships, but you don't encounter those as much as you do the buildings and the space stations and that sort of thing. So that's why I was so excited to see the Atlas station, because that was suddenly a different environment that I had never seen before, and it was very exciting. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to stay completely obsessed with this. I even bought the soundtrack. I should see if there's a t-shirt. Wear a t-shirt and listen to the soundtrack and play the game. Well, you don't have to listen to the soundtrack because it's in the game. Oh, sorry. I keep going on about No Man's Sky, and I need to shut up because this is getting really long. But I also wanted to mention, I also started playing Style Savvy, which, okay, let me just tell you, I like Best Buy. I'm a member of the Best Buy Gamers Club, where I get 20% discount off new games. And that's super helpful because you buy a game and you get a nice 20% discount off it. So, Style Savvy was $30. I would have gotten it for $24. And I happened to check BestBuy.com on Friday morning when it came out. No stores had it except for the one store that was right near me where I was going to go during my lunch hour. And I said, well, that's great. But it said it had less than 3 copies available. So I said, oh, crap. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy it online and do an in-store pickup, just to make sure I get one of those 3 copies. I do that. Get it for $24. My lunch hour comes, and I'm like, I never got the confirmation email that I can come pick it up. But I went anyway, figuring, well, maybe they still have a copy and I can just, you know, whatever, and they just haven't gotten around to filling my order. They didn't have any copies. The guy checked the inventory computer. It said they had 1 copy somewhere. They couldn't find it. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I've noticed this with Best Buy. Like, they're not good with the Nintendo games because they come out on Fridays. And, like, they're not the normal new release day. So they, like, I remember going to buy the Silent Hill game for the Wii, and they didn't even have them on the shelf. Like, he went in the back and he came out with a big stack. He's like, oh yeah, here it is. It came out today. Guess we should put these on the shelf. And I'm like, yeah, you might sell more copies that way. So I'm like, whatever. So I totally was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just cancel my order and pay the extra $6 and get it at Nintendo World. But then I realized, I'm like, well, no, why would I go and buy, if I'm going to pay the full price, I didn't want to buy the physical copy. I would just download it from the eShop, that way it's always on my 3DS, like Animal Crossing, because it's something that I'll keep going back to, and it's easier not to keep swapping out the cartridges. Sort of like No Man's Sky, where now I'm kind of regretting getting the physical copy, because I gotta keep swapping out if I want to watch a movie. But I'm just like, ugh. So I ended up just going back to work and downloading the Style Savvy Fashion Forward on my 3DS. I did pop up to Nintendo World for their event, but because it's not a big release, it was just like a corner of the upstairs, and they were demoing it on the big screen. And there were like some little contests. You can make like little, you know, the fashion plates where you put like a top, a middle, and a bottom, and then you just color it in. But I was just like, and I had to get home, so I was like, I couldn't really stay long anyway, and when I saw it wasn't like a big to-do, I just said, you know what, I'm not even going to bother, I'm just going to turn around and go home. So, boo. But I did start playing the game. Unfortunately, I'm still in like the beginning part. I haven't had a chance with FlameCon and everything to really dig in. So I'm still kind of in the tutorial section. I'm better with the store is now opened up where like people will come in and ask for whatever. But the hair salon only just opened up and I can't choose what I want. So now I'm like, I look completely weird. But eventually I'll get to work at the hair salon, which will be fun. So I can't really say too much about it yet, except that the opening storyline, like, it gave it a storyline, and it was weird because the earlier Style Savvy games were all just, here, you're in this town, run a boutique. Like, you walk into a boutique, they're like, oh, you're so stylish, you should run my boutique. Help find clothes for everybody. And, like, it's ridiculous, but whatever, it's just a premise to get you to start picking clothes for everybody and dressing everyone fabulously. So, like, it's kind of funny because, like, this one, they created a whole storyline where you get a letter from your dead grandmother with a little key in it. I think she's dead. I got the impression she was dead. And the key unlocks a door in this little diorama room, and a little tiny girl comes out of that door. And then the little tiny girl says, hey, let me shrink you down and bring you into my tiny world where you can then run a fashion boutique. And I'm just like, really? Like, did you really need to create, like, a whole, like, fantasy scenario to justify me picking out fabulous clothes for people? So that was weird. But I can't really talk too much about the gameplay because I'm still just getting started in it and it hasn't really unlocked everything yet. So we will talk more about Style Savvy Fashion Forward next week. And I'm going to go now because this has gone on way too long. So see you then. Bye!